rather what I should say is fear is more powerful than the desire to do something. And it can overwhelm your reason by creating confusion. And this is really, this is how our brains work. We have this, ape brain, this mammal brain that has these emotions, fear, love, jealousy, whatever, and they're powerful. I mean, they're hundreds of millions of years old, and they're there because they work, and they work pretty well, And one of the things that fear can do is create confusion. And the way it creates confusion is basically doubts. Let me try and get back on track here, because I'm a little off track. So I was trying to approach this topic, and for whatever reason I didn't know at the time, I would have to back away. And then I thought, well, you know what? And the more I would analyze it, the more confusion I would get, because I'd try to force myself towards that topic, whatever this project was, and the fear would build up and build up and build up until I couldn't, force myself closer, like a magnet, trying to put two north poles together, right? If the magnet is strong enough, then you just simply will not be able to put the two north poles together, because the closer you get, the stronger they push apart. So fear is kind of this repulsive force, and the way that it worked in my case, or I think in many cases, is that it causes confusion, and the confusion breaks down your rationality, and you simply can't think, or I couldn't think. And when that happens, the switch turns off. I mean, the rationality shuts off, and then you just go with your instincts, really. And for me, that was, well, let me look on the internet, So I would try to force myself into this project, and then I would approach it, and the fear would build and build. Remember, I didn't realize I was feeling the fear. The fear was definitely there, but I didn't realize it at the time. So I'd approach it, and I would get more and more confused, and then suddenly, I'd find myself on the internet. And the more I tried to analyze it rationally, again, the fear is building and building and building until I just got totally confused. And this is why I acted so irrationally and like self-destructively, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was really confused all the time, and essentially I had a mental breakdown. Call it what it is, right? It was pretty, devastating, demoralizing, that's a good word. Like, I felt totally confused and not able to do anything, and luckily not suicidal, but very depressed. So that was my first encounter with my new philosophy. That was when I realized that it's not enough to shut down emotions. It's not enough to deny your emotions. because the brain isn't built that way. If you deny your emotions, they will eventually, especially fear. Fear is very strong. I would say fear is probably the primal emotion. Well, I'll correct that in a bit, but at this stage of my understanding, I understood that fear is stronger than the desire. So I wanted to work on these projects intellectually, but something underneath that, in the subconscious, was preventing me, and that was the fear. And the fear was stronger than my desire. And I mean, if you look at most mental illnesses that are not that are not what's the word? Organic. I think it's organic. Like schizophrenia is an organic illness, or some sort of brain damage or something, or Alzheimer's, dementia. But if you look at most mental illnesses that are more along the lines of anxieties, or phobias, or depression, not all forms of depression, but some. I would say that a lot of that dynamic is the emotions ruling the brain, and primarily it would. I'm a lay psychologist. I don't really know, but I'm saying primarily it would be fear. Fear is the strongest emotion, and so that was my first encounter with emotions when I started to realize their importance. And later on, I started to realize their value. And maybe I'll get into that later. I think this is something worth... maybe it's a good time to stop the video. So I had fun on my first Wond'ring Aloud, and maybe I'll make another one. Who knows? I'm going to try and go with the flow. I enjoyed this process. It was tough to get going. I've been trying to make this video for weeks and weeks and weeks, and it was fear, one more time, stopping me from doing it. And so this is an important topic to me, and again, with this idea with Wond'ring Aloud, I'm just going to talk, let myself go. The ideas are going to come out, but they might not be the most well-formed or the best edited or whatever. So screw that, because that is something that stops me from making videos at all. So if I'm going to make any videos, I need to just drop the censor, drop my inner censor, and just let myself go. So that's what it means, Wond'ring Aloud. I'm allowed to wonder. So fuck you if you don't want me to. Yeah. Maybe I'll make a shout out. So, yeah, one of my favorite YouTubers is in Mendon, Gary, and I think a lot of people don't appreciate him, and I think there are pretty obvious reasons for that, but I'll get into that later. But I think if you look deeper and you look at his ideas, they're in my opinion, 95% in agreement, and pretty well expressed. Like, I wish I was so. I wish I could be able to make 1,000 videos. So yeah, if you can get past the exterior, the way he comes across, then I think a lot of people would do well to at least listen to what Gary has to say, and you don't have to agree with everything, but definitely those ideas are not spoken about enough by by most people. So, and they need to get out there. So, there's my first shout out. So, hi Gary. And I think I'll end it there.
Wond'ring aloud, will the years treat us well? As she floats in the kitchen.